Okay. So as we move forward, we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. And again, in a day full of trailblazers, in a day full of pioneers, I think it's just apropos to have one of Gary's finest and illuminating stars among us today. It is my true privilege and pleasure to bring to you our keynote speaker for today's occasion. She's a pioneer in her own way, and she makes up the fabric of the city with her dedication and her continued commitment to the city in all ways. Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Karen Freeman-Wilson.
Good afternoon. And so here we are. Some of you are in the middle of and on the other side of a very hearty meal. Some of you are on your way to a hearty meal. And I'm one of the speaking voices between that and the rest of your afternoon. First and foremost, let me just say what a treat it is to see all of you. Certainly to Derek Taylor, who is the president of the foundation, and to all of the members of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, as well as to my sorors of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and the members of the D9. To all of you, good afternoon. It is really humbling for me to have been asked to be this keynote speaker. This room is full of people who could easily stand where I am standing. But then it occurred to me that I have a reputation for being brief. And the price is right. Spring. I want to also congratulate all of the awardees today. You all are, each of you has been an inspiration to so many of us. And I can think of multiple occasions when I've heard you refer to, or I've referred to you as myself, myself. So you all are truly worthy of the honors, and I would just encourage you to continue to be the change agents that God has called you to be. So today, the Gary Alumni chapter has chosen to honor the past, celebrate the present, and invest in the future. As a nod to the past, this foundation, these awards, have been named with intentionality. Henry Bennet was a force. Whenever you saw Mr. Bennet, he was talking about two things: Kappa and NAACP. I remember my mom serving as an office secretary in the Gary branch of the NAACP. And I would watch him and Mr. Strong and Mrs. Strong and so many of the NAACP trailblazers with great interest. And so it's no wonder that this foundation is named after him. But I think about the other people that the award was named after. Mayor Richard Gordon Hatcher, Mr. George Taliaferro, Mr. Edward Barnett, Mr. Quentin P. Smith, for those who went to Westside, QB, Mr. Lewis Caldwell, Michael Jackson, Dr. Randall C. Morgan, and Reverend Dr. Robert Lawler. Each of them were distinguished in their own professions. But even more than that, they understood the importance of community and giving back to community. They were understated in demeanor, with the exception of Michael, bold in their action, and consistent in their commitment. These individuals, after whom the awards are named, were the go-to people of their times when you needed something important done. And together with countless others, they laid a foundation for this community, for our community, and created a formidable blueprint for those of you who we honor today. The honorees, and even current members of the fraternity, and many of you in the audience, have stepped up to set a standard of excellence in your chosen professions. At the same time, you recognize the importance of service, and so you mentor, you provide scholarships, and you stand in the gap for those in need. And you understand that working for material gain and serving in the community are not mutually exclusive endeavors. By your actions, you are making an investment in the future. But as committed as the honorees, and quite frankly, all of us may be, we cannot be the only people to invest in the future. And to understand the imperative of making that investment, you have to understand what is happening with disinvestment right now. The assault on our history, the dismantling of the Department of Education, the removal of the social safety net for health care and food insecurity, the loosening of environmental protections, and the bastardization of protection against discrimination. You know, I'm still having a hard time understanding how you use a law and statute that was designed to protect slaves or former slaves to protect white people. It amazes me. Yet, they're doing it just the same. And these are all weapons used by those in the public and private sector who are threatened by the progress that is represented by those that we celebrate today. They have made disinvestment their agenda, and the divestment has been so concentrated that it is tantamount to genocide. Well, now that sounds extreme. No, I don't think it is. Let me tell you why. Folks are counting on the chaotic process that we see unfolding on national media and social media every day, from keeping us from making a full assessment, but an attack on access to capital, housing, education, healthcare, and history means that you are trying to remove every rung on the ladder out of poverty and every step on the path to self-sufficiency that is available for those who do not come from wealth. That's genocide. But not only is it genocide, that is an attack on Black achievement and progress. And that's why we must collectively invest in the future. And we have to do that together. Silos over. This group versus that group, it all has to be over. We have to invest and invest together, because if we don't invest together, then we will not be as effective as the people who are working together to eradicate the progress that we make. So you may think that Jesse Jackson is a little outdated, but I'm going to quote him anyway and tell you that nobody will save us, from us, for us, but us. So we must invest. And investing means that we invest with our time, with our talent, and our treasure. Invest at home, at church, and in our neighborhoods. And we must invest in those that we know and those that we don't know. And we have a blueprint. Quite frankly, we stand on the legacy of great investors. And I want to tell you a story about investment in the future. Today, Mayor Melton and I are being honored in the category of government. And we are honored with the Mayor Richard Wharton Hatchet Award, an icon on whose shoulders we both stand. I remember the first time that I met Mayor Hatchet. I was 7. And he was at a house party. How many of you all remember those in the political arena? In my parents' basement. It wasn't a finished basement. It wasn't a fancy basement. It was just a basement with tables and chairs, where we heard Mayor Hatcher talk about his vision for our city. And there were largely adults in the room, but as an only child, I was often in adult spaces. And at the end of his speech, he took the time to talk to me. And I remember having him sign the back of a report card or a citizenship certificate that I had received earlier that day. Every time from that time on that I saw the mayor, when he was in the community, I would take off running every time I saw him. And my mother would say, "Leave the mayor alone. He's busy." But because he had taken the time at that house party, I thought he was my mayor as much as anybody else's. Fast forward to 1978. I was a senior in high school and was trying to decide, like so many of my classmates, where to go to school. On the one hand, you had General Motors Institute, co-op program. You could pay for your own education, live independently, and most importantly, get a discount on the 1978 Pontiac Trans Am. On the other hand was Harvard. And for my 17-year-old mind, there was no comparison. And that's where Mayor Hatcher re-entered. He heard that I was making this difficult choice. And he asked my mother to bring me down to City Hall. And he said, you know, you're probably thinking about not having educational debt or being far, far away from home, but I think that you should consider going to Harvard. Little did he know that the Trans Am was winning out of my mind. But the fact that he took the time, not just for me, but for many others, in the Mayor Hatcher Youth Foundation, and those who may not have been in formal organizations, just in the community, taking the time to set the example and invest in the future. That's what each of us has to continue to do. So today, in the face of a formidable blueprint to destabilize our community, we all have to make a commitment in the tradition of Henry Bennet, Mayor Hatcher, and all whose names we remember today. We need everyone to put on a cape and be a hero or heroine. Not in the same way or in the same place, but in the way that feels right and most productive to you. In the place where you know your gifts and talents will be most useful. And unlike the Bears game that we may all be planning to watch a little later, this is not a spectator sport. If we don't suit up and lace up as a collective, then the temporary losses that we are suffering right now may be permanent. In his book, Where Do We Go From Here?, Dr. Martin Luther King poses the rhetorical question, chaos or community, as a subtitle. And at that time, he was talking about the clear choice that was facing our nation at a time when we were grappling with civil rights and race. It seems like we haven't come very far from that time when he was writing. In fact, we see the chaos every day. Whether you think about the assault on immigrants, or whether you think about the assault on DEI, or the assault on our environment, we are in a state of chaos. It is up to each and and every one of us to create the community. And we know that you can do it. By your very presence here, you've proven that you can. Thank you.